a little bit of masterminding around listings today. If we were to say, so has anybody here read the Red Book, the MREA Millionaire Real Estate Agent book by Gary Keller? Read it? It looks like this. If you've not and you're interested, I know we have copies at our offices. I'm 99% sure both brokerages do. This is the real estate Bible, okay? And I say that because it's literally a guide to becoming a millionaire and to achieving everything that you want to achieve in real estate. So when we talk about the 3 L's, there's a triangle. The first L is always leads. Why do we always start off with leads in this industry? Why do we talk about leads most?
Because you can't have a deal without a lead, starting with a lead first.
Yeah. Leads are the lifeblood of our business. Without leads, we don't have a business. We just have nothing. We got nothing, right? So that's why we spend a lot of time talking about lead generation. And lead generation can take the form of a multitude of different things. And then from there, we go over to another L, and that other L is listings. So let's just have a conversation real quick, and I'm going to read some stuff directly from the Red Book. If you do have the Red Book, you can turn to page 101 and you can kind of follow along. Why are listings important?
Marketing for your business.
Yeah, Mary, says the buyer's agent. Marketing.
I know a little.
Yeah. 101. So listings provide marketing for your business. What do you mean by that, Mary?
Obviously with using command, I mean, you can create campaigns, constantly sharing that on social media. It's got your name, your face, all your information on it. So yeah, the more likely people are to share and see your postings, and you get your hype up, the more your business and name is out there, chances are you're going to generate more leads and referrals.
Amen. Preach.
For my listing I just had, I've gotten 3 appointments from just marketing from the neighbors who came through the open house, that are talking about, future sales with that. Like you said, it's the post, I have a postcard going out saying in contract with going directly just to the Woods Josephinian neighborhood.
Yeah, let's keep going here on this. I've got content, but I'd much rather hear what other ways we can use to market listings. So Mary said, social media. Casey just said physical mail. What other thing? And that was a in contract, right? That would be your mailer.
Correct.
Let's keep going from that. What other mailers or physical mail could you utilize for a listing?
Exclusive open houses.
What do you mean?
So sometimes if we have a desired neighborhood, what we'll do pre-market is we will send out exclusive flyers. Kelsey and I will go either door to door and create little door hangers, and we'll market that property exclusively off market to that neighborhood. And that generates kind of conversation among neighbors for their friends and family to come view the house before it will go on market.
So you're leveraging that listing to try to generate new leads, right? Is that the end game result, hopefully?
Correct. But with that lead gen, in mind, not only are we marketing our property as a listing agent, but we're also kind of getting free lead gen in by, having conversations door to door with folks in the neighborhood. Because also we can, potentially get other listings in that neighborhood. If they say, oh, well, I saw John next door was selling, with it being a seller's market, I'm thinking about selling my property. So we generate more listing appointments by going door to door, just by having that communication, marketing another property.
This is great stuff. So what you're talking about now is also like door knocking approach and a physical mailer in the form of a door hanger that you can literally put on the door.
Yeah, we do host with our team a lot of community events. So we try and, get out there and door knock as much as possible. It's kind of silly, even in this high tech world, we're finding that some folks actually respect a little bit of old school, which is just door knocking and pamphlets and bags and, door hangers and kind of going old school with business, not business cards, but, just something with your name on it. Cause I feel like in this industry, it's a little bit saturated with agents and groups. So I think they really respect having, a face-to-face conversation with someone now.
Hey, Josh.
This is
Oh.
great information. Janae, yeah.
We were in the office talking about office exclusive listings and just opening it up to our office first, and then if nobody bites, then putting it out there to try to make sure that our clients are able to have a chance.
Sure. That's an option as well with a listing. At the end of the day, I think where this conversation is going to go is if you have a listing, you own the business. And especially right now, if you have a listing and you don't take advantage of all the things that we're talking about right now, or at least some of the things that stand out to you, then are you really interested in promoting your business and increasing your business? That's kind of the inside question. The other thing I'll say is, I'm going to ask a question. Does the listing have to be yours to do all this stuff?
No.
Absolutely not. So for a lot of us, we don't have any listings. And so the agents who aren't in coaching or the agents who aren't in conversations like these, they have no idea where to start. But for those of you, a lot of you recently have been able to help out with open houses. If we're not taking this step to do the pre-work leading up to the open house, we're leaving dollars out there that could be ours. And so what I want to make sure that we're all on the same page leaving this conversation is that any opportunity you get to work in a listing of any sort, whether it's yours, your team's, an individual who you just affiliate with in your brokerage, whatever it is, even a for sale by owner, like Melody, I know you've been going after for sale by owners. What if you tried to say, hey, what if I held your house open this weekend? And
Yeah,
then
I definitely offered that.
You did these things leading up to it. Odds are you're going to promote more business coming from that one thing. You're gonna create a waterfall effect. And sometimes these things aren't just gonna come immediately out of the woodwork. Like if you do door knock a neighborhood, the percentage of folks who raise their hand right now and say, yes, actually, I'm looking to sell too, it's minuscule. It's 1% maybe. However, if you do a good job of presenting yourself and presenting the information and giving them something tangible to keep that has your contact information, odds of them remembering you and reaching out to you when the time is right is great. This is a nurture business. It's not always right now business. And so when I say nurture, I mean, it's kind of like a plant. You plant the seed and it doesn't grow overnight. But through watering it, like we're talking about right here, by doing exclusive open houses for the neighbors or by holding events in the neighborhood that we have the listing in or the open house in, or by sending out mailers, we are watering those seeds. And then, who knows when the seed starts to bloom into a flower, but when it does, you're there to pick it. So I want to go back to the mailer. So Casey said just went into contract, and then Mary said door hangers. What other type of physical mail type items could we use for a listing?
Just listed.
Just listed?
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Coming soon might be a little bit easier in this industry or in this market right now because just listed will last about 2 days and then it will be just in contract.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas coming soon, you can market that for up to 30 days. We need to be strategic around that as well. So if you have a listing coming up, so let's say Casey, you've got this home that you're getting ready to, fix up. and let's say you're 90 days away from it being ready. Well, you need to have a strategy in your mind saying, okay, 60 days from now is when I want to start the coming soon, so that I can create some print media, send that out, drum up some interest, get some new buyers percolating, maybe get a new listing or two from it. At the end of the day, all this is being done. All this stuff that we're talking about is being done to generate more leads, which goes back to our first L, lead generation. Listings and lead generation really go hand in hand. Okay, so we've got coming soon, just listed. We've got in contract. Then what? Casey, it's in contract and it closes. Then what do you send out?
The card we're sending out is a sold card. It says over asking. We have the number of offers that were generated. And then my client's writing up, a little statement about how helpful I was through the process.
This is gold, man. What does that do for a person who might open their mailbox and see that information? What's that do to that person?
Personal trust. It earns that trust. They remember that neighbor and they know who that person is and what they went through. And then they saw the finished product and they're like, you know what? I could utilize this guy for what we want to do. And that's what the 3 conversations I've had so far with these people in the neighborhood. They're amazed at what was done.
Kind of creates a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out too. Like, oh my God, that person got that. Well, I wonder what my house is worth. I better call this guy because it seems like he really knows his stuff. And that, I love the fact that you're putting a little review on the card too. Like if you guys haven't had a chance to go into Command and Play, there are mailers that you can import designs and stuff, but you can do like huge mailers. I'm talking massive. Like, I don't even know what the size of them are. It's like 13 inches by 8 inches or something crazy big. It would take up the whole mailbox. Would that capture your attention if you were a homeowner? Yeah, probably. And might it go in the trash? Sure. But if you got all that cool information on it, odds are it's going to take a little bit of time before it makes its way into the trash. Think about the mailers that you guys get currently from other realtors. I'm assuming y'all get them. I know I do. Every mailer that I always get is a list of homes that just sold in the neighborhood and for how much they sold for. Very rarely is there any personal information about the realtor. Very rarely is there anything fun on the card. It's just blah, it's boring. So I love the idea of putting a little character into it. Casey, I know you well enough to know that this isn't going to be a mundane little card. This is going to have some fun. It's going to have some pizzazz. And ultimately, at the end of the day, people are going to build trust with you.
The neat thing is that marketing person does it. She actually told us we have a larger card that goes out because she says that the smaller ones get lost because of the size. So it's like almost like a half of a page. I don't have one with me, but the larger piece and the people seem to have noticed it more.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna come back to this on different ideas and techniques we can use to generate more business out of our listings. But I'm gonna read from page 101 on the Red Book. The title is Listings, the High Leverage Maximum Earning Opportunity. And we'll stop and converse through this. The second most important L is listings. While leads are vital to your sales business, seller listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net. So let's pause there. Why are listings, why does he say lowest cost and highest net? In terms of building a business?
It's kind of I don't want to say it's a one and done, but you meet with your client, you market, you get the materials, and then you don't have to worry about the legwork of driving, with the buyer's agent, it's multiple houses and viewing. With it being a seller's market, you're going to net and you're not having to make the, multiple drives as you are with a buyer's agent.
Yeah, so in terms of cost, do we not place a cost to the miles that we drive, the money spent on gas, the
Yeah.
time, more importantly, spent on
Time.
driving to and fro showings? Absolutely, we should. And so a listing doesn't really require a whole lot of time, to Mary's point. I'm going to continue reading. Let's explore a hypothetical situation. Pretend just for a moment that you are in a situation where you have to choose between working with someone who wants to list their $200,000 home and someone who would like to buy it. Neither will be offended if you choose the other. So which do you choose?
Listing.
The listing opportunity or the buying opportunity? I heard somebody say listing. Maybe there's no right or wrong answer here. What raise of hands, or if I see you on screen, just raise your hand. Who would choose the listing? See hands going up. Show of hands or voice, who would choose the buyer? Anybody? Bueller? All right, I don't see any hands going up. I would hope that 100% of you would choose the listing opportunity. Why? Let me count the reasons. There are 6 reasons listed here. Number 1, seller listings mean marketing opportunities. So just what Mary and y'all were talking about. A, you get to put your sign in the front yard and maybe directional signage as well. What can a sign do for your business?
Drive leads.
Drive leads, drive attention probably.
Mhm.
Mark your territory.
I like that. Get your name out into the community. You ever seen a McDonald's without a sign? I sure haven't. And let alone a sign that you can see from miles away, right? Maybe we need to invest in some light up neon signs or something. I don't know.
Ooh,
So-
KW would go broke.
What's that?
I said KW would go broke if we're creating signs that big.
That's true. That's true. So A, you get a chance to put your sign in the yard as a marketing opportunity. Other marketing opportunities, you get to market the listing through direct mail and email, etc. But when this book was written, there was no social media. So we're going to add social media in there as the number 1 opportunity. And C, you get to advertise the listing through newspapers, magazines, the MLS, your website, etc. I can't lie here. I don't know that I would recommend the newspaper approach so much, but it's an option. So you get a chance to market in all those different ways. 2, you have more control of your time. There is usually not the sense of do it right now urgency with sellers that buyers often have. Therefore, you should be able to control your schedule a little bit more. And I know a lot of us here on the call have children or grandchildren or other hobbies that they'd like to be doing. Well, you're going to have more time for those hobbies if you are on the listing side. 3, seller listings maximize your per hour compensation. It usually takes a lot less time to obtain and market a listing prior to its selling than it does to show for and sell to a buyer. Also think of the time it takes you to write a contract. I mean, it doesn't take forever, but you got to go find a computer you're comfortable with, sit down, have a call with the client. There's an hour that goes into that. Other virtues of seller listings. Number 4, volume. In our experience, a highly focused, highly leveraged real estate agent can work 15 to 25 seller listings per month and keep it up. The seller agent would be hard pressed to work 7 or 8 buyers per month and continue to do so over a long period of time. So those of you who are working with more than one buyer, you realize that you're stretched a little bit thin, but working with more than one seller, it's a lot easier. Number 5, With seller listings, you are on the front end of pricing, which translates to an intimate knowledge of the market. And number 6, properly marketed seller listings bring you more business. Because of the multiple marketing opportunities that are part of the listing process, we've found that on average, one well-marketed listing will generate one serious buyer who buys. So if you focus on obtaining and marketing seller listings, you should be able to get all the buyers you need. It's the real estate industry's version of the two for one. So we've talked a little bit about marketing. We've talked about control of time. The third point there is seller listings maximize your per hour compensation. That comes down to the bottom line, right? At the end of the day, we want to net as much money as possible. So we're profitable. Any business, you need to be profitable. So we need to think of the easiest ways to get money generated, and that's through listings. Volume, that just refers again back to time. Intimate knowledge of the market. I will say when I'm running comps for listings, I own that information. Basically, we are setting the market in that house. When I'm on the other side, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. And in this market, if you're listed at 200, you're going to get 200. And it is of no concern to the listing agent what your comps say, because your comps just go straight out the window. And if you want to win this house, you're going to have to offer me 220, 230, 240, et cetera. So you own the market basically. And then 6, a properly marketed seller listing will bring you more business. So a couple more paragraphs here. Conversely, buyers present many fewer, if any, marketing opportunities. At best, buyer clients get us into the field, ensure that we are actively surveying our market firsthand, and generate referrals. At worst, an indecisive buyer can demand weeks, if not months, of your attention before buying, or worse, deciding to wait until next year. There is simply too much upside to the listings business not to focus on listings first. So if you would choose sellers over buyers in the hypothetical situation we described, why aren't you placing seller clients at the core of your business? There are so many great reasons to devote all of your time and effort to taking and marketing listings. The millionaire real estate agent grasps the incredible advantages of making, obtaining, and marketing seller listings their primary lead generation focus, and they do so almost exclusively. So when we talk about lead generation, the millionaire realtors out there, they're focusing almost solely on listing clients. We'll talk here momentarily about how to do that. Because even if you're a buyer's agent, if you were to find a client that wanted to sell their home, odds are you're going to be helping them buy one as well. And you're going to be helping your team if you're on a team. Over time, they will hire one or more buyer specialists to work the buyer side of the business and concentrate their energy on the high return, high leverage business of listings. So this is for the solo agent, but listings are the second L. All the millionaire real estate agents we worked with and interviewed devoted their time to listings first. The buyers they worked with were usually the result of their seller focus or their focus on referral and repeat business. Making listings your primary focus will lead you to the highest possible returns. So if we're talking about our lead generation being aimed at trying to find listings, what does that look like? We're going to open it up here again because we started out with some great conversation about how to promote listings. Could that not also just be considered lead generating for future listings?
Mhm.
So let's say Chris is in the room with me here. Chris gets a opportunity to do an open house for another agent. And we find out about it on Monday, and the open house is, let's say, Saturday. Would we all agree that open houses are a great avenue to obtain more business? So Chris says, that's how I got my first buyer. So Chris has been licensed now for like 3 weeks, and he's already got a buyer, and he's already got them looking at homes. Like literally, you went and saw homes yesterday, right? So he got his first buyer from an open house. If you're not actively looking for open houses, doesn't matter if you're a buyer's agent or not, or you're a solo agent, go get into open houses. So what should that week of preparation look like if we're trying to drum up as much business as possible?
Marketing the house to the surrounding homes. So send out an invitation to the open house or door knock, inviting them to the open house.
Yeah. So physical piece of mail would be optimal. How can you offset the cost of that?
Social media hype.
Vendor.
Social media hype. We'll get to that in a second, but vendors can help you offset your cost, right? And so they might pay for it for you. If you have a title company rep, they might just print you out the flyers that you need. You're gonna need a quick turnaround time. This is not something that you're gonna like actually send in the mail. This is probably something you're gonna have to physically go hand out, because if you're sending in the mail, they're not gonna get it till Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or I mean Monday of the next week. Okay, so one thing we can do is some print stuff, and that can be done for basically free. And then you said something else. So market to the neighborhood through door knocking. So we've got print, we've got in person. What does door knocking look like? Like, what's the actual conversation look like?
Typically when Kelsey and I do door knocking, if we're promoting a listing or an open house, we'll pull the comparables around the area so that we'll educate the community about what the homes in the community are going for.
Would you mind, do you have a kind of a mock script that you use?
I wish I did. Usually it's just, we're happy someone actually answered the doorbell.
Yeah. We use the word script as if it's a bad word, like we need to have the perfect words, but really the conversation is more like, hey, good afternoon. Thanks for answering the door. My name's Josh. I'm a realtor in the area, and I've got an open house coming up. I wanted to invite you to that. A lot of times neighbors like to see what the neighbors' houses are all about. And also just inform you that the house down the street just sold, had 20 offers, and got $40,000 over asking price, and was really a low stress scenario for the seller. So would love to see you at the open house on Saturday, and I'll leave you my information. Here's a flyer that gives you some of that information too. You know that,
Josh, we reached out to the HOA and did a neighborhood invite that if they want to come by on Thursday, just to, and it was just a neighborhood walkthrough, and we got 10 or 12 people that just came through, and they were saying hi to Vicky and stuff like that. So that added to a little bit of the buzz.
The HOA gave you everybody's address and name?
They just reached out to so they put something out. So I actually could have, through Vicky, I could have put something out on the HOA's site. But the HOA guys reached out and they said, just confirm with, and they gave my phone number and stuff. And, but it was nice. And the people that maybe live around that neighborhood or live in that neighborhood, they have friends that say, oh my gosh, I would love to live in your neighborhood. They remember those friends. And there was a few people that got called by the neighbors to come through the house on Sunday.
So the HOA sent it like via an email. You just gave them the content?
Correct.
Great. Okay.
I would say most HOAs aren't going to do that for you. So Casey lives in a nicer area, and God bless him. So door knocking is our second opportunity. It's your face-to-face. Mary, what did you say? You said something about social media, right?
Yeah, obviously more cost effective, or at least mindful, is social media marketing for it.
Yeah, cost effective, meaning you can do it for free, or you could do it for, spend $25 and promote it to the, 10 miles, 15 miles surrounding the geography that you're marketing to. If you're using command, all these tools that we're talking about, except for the door knocking, like even the door knocking, you can print off door knocking material, flyers and stuff, but all this stuff can be done through command. If you're not comfortable with how to use command, then reach to Rachel or holler at me. I'll help you as much as I can. Command offers you low price or free options to stay profitable. So we're seeing people in person through the door knock, in the mailbox, or on their front doorstep or on their doorknob. We're seeing their eyeballs through the computer. What else? How else can we hit people? Cold calling, boom, we're getting them on their cell phone. If you don't know how to get phone numbers, we can talk to the title company, or we have access to Mojo Power Dialer or Power Dialers in general that can get you phone numbers for geography areas. We can talk more about that if you don't know about those things. So we're talking about 4 things. We can also do things like email. What else? Missing anything? Going back to what Mary said, what if we did a neighbors only exclusive early open house the Friday before? Like, so if you're a brand new agent, you don't have any listings, and you were to ask me, hey, Josh, is it cool if I hold your house open this weekend? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't really, I'm going to be out of town anyways. So yeah, go ahead. If you came and showed me your like 5-step plan to how you're going to drum up business, I would be ecstatic. And I'd be like, oh my God, you're amazing. You're better than I am. We have to have a plan when we approach these things. And if you have a plan to execute all 5 of these steps, like that's a strong plan that's going to help you grow your business. It's going to force you to grow your business acumen and your knowledge of the industry. And ultimately it's going to pay off with more leads. And ultimately it's a vicious cycle of getting more listings. More listings you get, more listings you're going to continue to get. Am I missing anything else that we can do to drum up excitement for open houses? I know I'm missing some stuff. We talked about having a neon sign. What's the same as having a neon sign out there in front of your house for an open house?
Balloons.
Chris says balloons. That's old school right there. And that's something that a lot of us don't do anymore. It's cheap too. What's it cost? $10 for a bunch of balloons?
Kim Buckner does this a lot, and something I think we're gonna try eventually is she would have a food truck and invite the neighbors, even if they came early, or just to drum up a little excitement from that end. I mean, obviously that takes money, but a lot of us, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. She does that a lot, and I think it's awesome.
Where you're going with that is that's a billboard. That in and of itself is a huge billboard. If I drive by a house and I see a taco truck, am I not stopping what I'm doing and saying, what's going on over there? And odds are if I see, oh, okay, there's a sign, it's got balloons, they're having an open house. Oh my gosh, who's the realtor there? Because they're really putting on a show. Like that's what sticks in people's memories, right? So a food truck can be great. And honestly, you can get food trucks for relatively cheap. And as long as you hit like their minimum, a lot of times, I know Chelsea and I are planning an event upcoming here soon. And a lot of food trucks, they just have $1 minimum. And if you don't meet that, then maybe you got to pay up to, the $200 or whatever, but it's pretty low fee. What you're going to make in your commission will way offset that. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely generate some attraction. What else in regards to open houses? I don't want to spend too much time on open houses, but they're a great way to generate attraction.
With the balloons, I just, the other day when I did an open house, I just happened to have extra balloons. So I just put them in the house, and anybody that brought kids in, I gave them the balloons. And they were like so thankful. They filled out all their information on the sign-in sheet, which, you know, not everybody fills out everything. And I even got an email afterwards from one of those walkthroughs. So that just happened by accident, but I thought it was kind of a good idea.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Here's another idea. Make sure you have directionals. If you're at either market center and you don't have these, I've got some for you. I've got some here in the office for Capital Partners, and over at Excel, we've got some generic directionals. A directional sign can make a difference. When you ask people, well, as they walk through your open house, how'd you hear about the open house? Well, actually, I just saw your sign out there on the corner, the street corner, that busy street over there. Oh, sweet. That's a conversation you're having with somebody that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Moral of the story is, if you're going to be having a listing, you have to get to an open house, dagnabbit. If you don't get to an open house, you're leaving future dollars on the table. So if your team has a listing, or if you personally have a listing, do whatever it takes to get to an open house. Even if you have it early, even if you have it on a Thursday night, Friday night. I know several agents here on the call have tried like Thursday open houses. They may not work as good as a Saturday or Sunday, but if you're scared that your home is going to be in contract before you get to one, do everything you can to get to an open house. What other ways can we find? So as we're lead generating each day from 9 to 11, right? That's when we're supposed to be lead generating, getting our 100 contacts in per week. 100 contacts in per week. As we're generating leads and we're trying to focus on listings, how do we call? Who do we call? Or how do we market? How do we get these conversations? A lot of this information has already been talked about. What are some things that I could, as an agent on this call, I could take away and tomorrow start instituting to generate listing leads?
Open
Paying
houses
attention
for our listing agents,
What was that about listing agents?
holding open houses for our listing agents.
Yeah, that's a huge one. So if you don't know where to go for that, then go to your closed group Facebook page and say, hey, I want to do open houses. Or when I give you guys opportunities from other agents that I know of who are doing open houses, be the first to raise your hand. The people who are directly rewarded and get the open house are the first to respond. So this device, the early bird gets the worm. So if you want more business, be quick to respond.
You
Okay, so
could,
hold open
be calling
houses.
your farm, be calling your farm.
Call our
area
farm.
to see,
Yes.
let's see if they're interested in selling, let them know what's going on in their market, in their neighborhood.
Yep. Yep.
I think too, even just paying attention to big life events for friends and family on social media and just calling and hey, congratulations, happy birthday, whatever it is. And then it just naturally kind of leads to that path.
Yeah. How do you reach out to that person then, Nicole?
I think it depends on who they are to me, but if I don't feel funny about picking up the phone and just saying congratulations, I think that's the best way. Otherwise, you can comment or on their status or shoot them an email, even send them a card. I know our team does a lot of just handwritten notes, happy birthday, congratulations, things like that. Send them flowers. Get creative.
It's great. The easiest thing to do would obviously be just in the social media avenue to do it right then and there. But in addition to, if you want to plus it up, then go to that extreme. That's what leaves a lasting impression in your future client's eyes, going above and beyond. Awesome. What else can you?
I want to go back to the postcards. Jill Fergus, I live in her neighborhood. And every month she sends a card, a good sized card, but on that card is a list of all the cool happenings around Columbus for that month. And I find myself keeping her card because I want to know what's going on in Columbus. And I thought that was genius. It's just very simple. It's got her little headshot, her lender, I think obviously helps her, or a vendor that month. But it's got their information and just a beautifully decorated, very simple by date, what's happening that month. And so I thought that was a really good idea. Keeps her in mind. I keep the card because I want to know a quick reference as to what's happening around the city. So I thought that was great.
Great idea. What else can we be doing to generate leads for listings?
Expires or
let's say you
withdrawn.
get a buyer. Oh, sorry, Chelsea, what was that?
Then you could search expireds and withdrawns.
Great. You could do your golden letter type approach. Can you briefly say what the golden letter is?
Just a letter that's, I mean, the one that I did was pretty informal. I had 2 specific clients looking for a very specific neighborhood. Just gave a quick snippet of who they were, and just said that they were ready to buy in your neighborhood. They're ready to buy now. If you have considered selling and know of any of your neighbors that have considered selling, let me know.
Beautiful. And when that person raises their hand and says, well, yeah, actually, I'm kind of considering, then you can potentially turn around and get that listing as well, right? You were going to say something earlier, Chelsea, and then you totally cut off. What were you going to say?
Yeah, my computer died. It was when Deidre was talking about the creative offer bonuses. I was talking to someone yesterday, and the buyer offered for 1 week possession after closing, but in addition, another week at their timeshare at any location of their choice. I thought that was really cool. So if you have any clients that have timeshares, that's a super easy bonus for them to throw in, and I would take a week vacation.
Heck yeah, that sounds awesome. That's a fun idea. Does anybody have a timeshare that I can put into a contract? Other ideas. So Chris mentioned cold calling earlier. So geographic calling. So a circle prospecting, otherwise known as. So we can use Mojo, the power dialer, for that. And just say, honestly, you're trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's like a twofer, right? So you've got a buyer who's looking in this specific area. You just call and say, hey, I've got a buyer potentially looking for a home in your area. Are you or any of your neighbors or friends interested in selling? And again, it's a low ROI way to get business. It's not going to be a lot of immediate hands raising, but you will get business. The more calls, it's a volume game. The more calls you make, the better off you're going to be at getting business. So make your 100 contacts. Odds are 1 or 2 of those people will raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested. So true story here. I just hired an ISA, somebody that does nothing but make phone calls all day long. And what I'm seeing is about every 100 calls that they make, and again, it's total volume game, they're getting about 2 to 3 appointments for me. So, that success rate isn't huge, but knowing that it's a numbers game will help you get through the calls and the trudge, right? The drudgery of making the 100 phone calls, it will pay off with 1 or 2 appointments. The numbers don't lie. Somebody's doing something really fun in my Facebook community, and I shared this with my team. So we're going to be doing this on Facebook or on Instagram. You can do this on any social media platform. Odds are you have a buku amount of friends or followers that you haven't talked to in decades or maybe even ever, but they're still your friend. I got a message on Monday from somebody, and it said, hey, I've got this thing that I committed to at the start of the year, and I'm really trying to work my way through it. And it's to reach out to every single one of my Facebook friends and just strike up a conversation. So I'd love to know, how are you doing? How's your day going? They clearly copy and pasted this 1,000 times to all their friends. It came through a Facebook message. And yet I took time right away to answer it because it felt cool. It felt special. It felt like it was just to me. Is that not a way to stay top of mind? Because inevitably and the reason I'm saying this is because this is a great way to lead generate. Inevitably, when you start getting into the conversation with the people who return your inquiry, you're going to get into, oh yeah, what are you up to nowadays? And they're going to say, oh, I don't know, I'm a teacher now. What are you doing? Oh, I'm in real estate. And boom, you just got a real estate contact because it's two ways. And who knows where that leads? Maybe even jokingly say, yeah, do you know of anybody looking to sell soon? And then where does that lead? But this is really low hanging fruit. It seems super easy, super low touch, and odds are you can't hurt your relationship anymore, right? If you've never talked to the person or if you haven't talked to them in decades, and who knows, maybe a new friend comes out of it. So I thought that was a great idea, and we're doing it. We talked a lot about lead generation today. We got a couple minutes left. What other ideas do y'all have, or what else are you doing or seeing being done to generate leads for listings?
I'm calling absentee owners right now.
Calling absentee owners. What's an absentee owner, Chris?
Someone who does not live at their address. Right now I'm calling out of state because they're usually more.
I don't know if you can hear him. So Chris is explaining an absentee owner is somebody who owns a property but doesn't physically live in it. So he's calling out of state absentee owners. How do you get this list?
Mojo Dollar. They have a filter selection where you can call absentee. So that's what.
So Mojo Dialer has it. There's also an app called Fiverr. Fivver, I believe is how you spell it. Fivver. You can get a whole list of absentee owners. Why might that be a good idea right now? You guys might have heard or got an email yesterday from the board about this issue that has just been deemed unconstitutional. Eviction.
Fair housing.
Yeah, so it was ruled that banning evictions is unethical, unconstitutional. So evictions are going to start happening now. A lot of these absentee owners have not been getting paychecks for a long time. So maybe they are due to sell soon. Maybe they'd love to get out from under that.
And I usually play hey, I have a couple clients that are interested in the area. So would we like to look at the house? I don't kind of push hey, so let me list your house immediately. I try to set the appointment first. Hey, let me come view the house. Let's set up a time and do it that way.
Cool. So right away, he's not just like going in for the kill. He's trying to establish a little bit of a relationship and rapport. And Chris used to do a little wholesaling, right?
Yep.
Good ideas. And one thing that Chelsea said earlier that I don't want to lose sight on is expireds, canceled listings. These are all people that have raised their hand before and said, I want to sell. And now for some reason they put it down. Maybe they had a crappy realtor. Maybe they just didn't have a good pricing strategy. That's where you can help them. Also, for sale by owners, can they sell it right now themselves? Yeah, absolutely they can. But are they going to get as much money and are they going to have a more stressful time? Yeah. All right. Good stuff, guys. Thank you all for jumping in here. Thanks for contributing some good ideas. And I hope that this has been helpful and got you salivating at how you can lead generate. I'll talk to y'all next week. Again, no meeting next Thursday. Go participate in Red Day. Goodbye.